But one of the things that we saw last year was the excitement that the city had behind Sac State football. And it's continued all the way through. It's been building for a couple years, but last year was a special season, and it hasn't tailed off at all. How are you feeling about the expectations of Sac State football going into the season?
I'm excited. It's a lot better to be in a place where there's high expectations than one where there's low and there's nobody that wants to be around it. So I think last year was great for our players to see that the city came out and supported them. Mm-hmm. And we want to be somebody that the whole city's proud of, and how we play and how we do things, and then how we treat people, in our interactions in the city. Yeah. So, it's everything. But I think we got a lot of players back that are exciting to watch, that are fun to watch, and some local flavor too, with a lot of guys that grew up right in this area that are going to be playing in front of their hometown fans.
Yeah, for sure.
So much to talk about, but obviously you already know what everybody wants to know about, and that's who's going to take over under center. Okay. You have a few options, and we talk about it on CBS 13 all the time, but just want to talk about the guys that you have competing. There's a 3-man competition going on right now. You guys, first day of pads yesterday. Yep. Just how are they looking? I know that you're not going to tell us who's going to be the starter, but you guys played a 2-quarterback system last year. Are we feeling like it might move in that direction?
I feel very good about the 3 guys that are competing. I can talk to you about each one of them. Caden Bennett, obviously, is from this area, won a couple state championships at Folsom High. Just a great person to be around, great energy, exciting, can take off. He probably, if he's not in the top 2 fastest guys on our team, I'd be shocked. He can really run, but he's also a great leader. And so I think he's done a good job of taking the reins, because he has been in the program the longest. Yeah. And working with the receivers and the offensive line. So he's first. He's up there as far as I wanted to talk about him. Then Carson Camp is a transfer from South Dakota. He's played in 18 FCS games. Thing that's impressive about him is he was actually going into his senior year, and he graduated early, and that was when COVID happened. And he came in as literally a senior and started 10 football games for South Dakota that year as what it would be a senior.
Yeah, I'm about to say senior in high school.
Yeah, and he's playing college football. And he's got some very good arm talent, and studies the game and has been a workhorse. And then we got the young cat here, Carson Conklin, who's from Centennial, which is a powerhouse down in Southern Cal. And if you know anything about that program, they play a lot of quarterbacks, and so and throw the ball a lot and do really well. And he's got great arm talent. He's been exciting. He's a young gunslinger, man. He'll throw it. If he throws a pick the next play, it doesn't matter. He's throwing it deep or where it is. So he's got a lot of talent, a lot of upside. So we're letting those guys compete, and we're watching those guys every day. They're getting coached by Coach Frescas, who's a Hornet, who's had a lot of success in this region also. So excited about all those guys.
Some great problems to have here.
It's good problems to have, definitely.
Coach Andy Thompson, head coach of Sac State football, joining us on D-Lo and KC right now. And you had the job of taking over for what Coach Troy Taylor was able to do with Sac State. And I know there's probably a fine line of, you learned from him. There were things that you took from him and some of the successful things that he was able to do. But you also want to put your own fingerprints on this team. In what ways do you think we might see that? Like, is the offense, maybe you're going to put your own spin on the offense and you maybe throwing a little bit more, maybe more run heavy? Like, how do you expect to kind of put your input on this version of Sac State football now?
Yeah, great question. I've got it quite a bit because, he was so successful. And I'm, again, very thankful for all the things that I learned from him. And he did a great job of really starting a culture of winning at Sac State again. There's had winning teams before, but he really did a good job of it. And, what can people expect from my seat? I'm very passionate. I'm very, I interact a lot with the players. You'll probably see a little bit more celebration with me. I'm the guy that's going to be high-fiving. I really enjoy coaching football. I love it. And I think the players are going to feed off of that. And I hope it's a positive influence for them. As far as the scheme stuff, every year, you got to see what your players do.
Right.
So Caden Bennett, Carson Camp look different than Ash O'Hara and Jake Dunaway.
Right.
I mean, they're just different styles of quarterbacks.
Right.
And so we're in the process of making sure as coaches, we play to our players' talents, and whatever they do well, we got to maximize that. Marcus Fulcher, new running back, not new because he's been here, been all conference, but he's going to get a lot more carries without Cameron Scatterbu being here. He's got a different style. And so, again, we're in the process of, we have 23 practices before that first game. We're 7 in, and we're going to see what those guys do really well, and then we're going to try to make the best of what they do well. Yeah.
Speaking of just putting your fingerprint on the program, the new motto this year, Swarm. We talked about it in practice the other day, but people, listeners here at 1320 probably haven't heard what that is and what it means. You can just tell them a little bit about it.
Yeah, college guys, you do want to emphasize things that are important. And for me, it's a style of play. It's a way that we want to do things. So it starts with an S, and that starts with being smart football team. We don't want to beat ourselves. You guys have definitely heard that before from coaches, right?
Absolutely.
But there's more to that, Smart is also knowing situations. So that's a big word, but we want to be a smart football team first and foremost. Yeah. And then we want to be a hardworking team. That W stands for work. Yeah. And we want to outwork our opponents. And we do that by how we practice and how much we work at it in the off season. Yeah. And the guys have been doing that. And then the A stands for attacking. We want to attack on both sides. Me being a defensive coach, I definitely don't want to just sit there and let the offense do whatever they want to do.
Right.
And I think the whole team wants to be that. On offense, we want to attack down the field. Yeah. I think you're going to see us throw the ball down the field and take some shots.
I like that.
Okay. And then the last part is going into a mindset more of the R stands for being resilient. You think about a football game, it's almost 3.5 hours long now in college football. They're trying to shorten it a little bit, but there's good plays, there's bad plays, and you got to be able to respond the right way. You got to be resilient. You got to be able to get up. And football teaches that. You get knocked down, you got to get back up, right? It's one of the only games where it's actually physically you're on the ground. You got to decide if you're going to get up. And so we want to be resilient, and we want to practice that. And we want to be able to keep playing the whole game until they tell us we can't play anymore. Yeah. And then last is being mindful. That M stands for mindful. Yeah. Can't think too far ahead. We want to stay in the moment, and we want to enjoy being at Sac State. We want to enjoy every part of the program, and we want to enjoy while we're out there together, staying in that moment, not thinking too far ahead.
Right.
I mean, Coach, do you have any space for a 40-year-old defensive back? Like, I'm ready. You got me ready to go. I could be like a grad transfer or something like that. Like, I'm ready.
Hey, you probably have eligibility still.
I don't tackle though. Yeah. That's the problem. I'm a playmaker.
That's okay.
Like, I just go for the picks.
Hey,
I don't tackle. That's it. They well, you wouldn't pay me, but like Deion said, they don't pay me to tackle. They pay me to make plays. That's what I do.
You can now in college football. You can get paid.
A little NIL action here.
Let's go.
Coach Andy Thompson, head coach of Sac State football, kind enough to join us here on D-Lo and KC. And you talked about last season, and I wanted to ask you guys, last season ended in heartbreaking fashion with that playoff game at home. Kind of, taking yourself outside of, my Sac State fandom, what I root from. That was an incredible game. Incredible game.
I was like on sideline next to you, wild.
That was an incredible
so much
game.
Fun.
Unfortunately, it didn't end the way we wanted it to, but it was an incredible game. But I bring that up to say, you talked about there's a lot of guys coming back. How much has the way the season ended last year fueled these guys throughout the summer and now into practice, and something that you guys continue, I'm sure, because I coach kids. I used to be an athlete. Like, anytime maybe I don't want to do an extra rep, I think about the way the season ended before, and I was like, nope, let me get it again. How has that fueled you guys throughout this offseason?
Yeah, I think you're right on it. You don't want to talk too much about the past, right? Because we want to be mindful and live in the moment. But everybody be lying if we liked how it finished last year. It left a bad taste in our mouth. So we got a lot of guys that are very motivated. I know personally as a coach, I'm very motivated to find different ways because of how we played on defense. And everybody thought, we were so close. Let's go back and let's correct it, and let's go make a run. At the same time, you kind of have to detach from the result,
right,
and look at all the things positive that we did do. And you got to get back to that process that everybody talks about of how you do it on a day-to-day basis to get you back there. Because if you just spend all your time thinking about, that last game, it's really about the work we need to put in so that if we get in that position again, hopefully we can play it better. But it was an exciting game, amazing effort by all the players, the coaches that were involved. And it's one of those games for me personally, it stings a little bit, but if I was a fan watching that game, I'm like, wow, this is nuts. This is going crazy with the ebbs and flows of it. But definitely want to get back there and want to have a different result.
Real quick, sir, the crazy thing about that is you guys did so many phenomenal things last year, won so many big games, the ESPN game and, the Causeway and all this other stuff. And just like you athlete, you only remember the loss, right? Like you did so many great things last year and had so many people excited and so many big wins, that so many things the school has never seen before or hasn't seen in a very long time. But, as athletes, all we remember is, whatever that last play was or the loss, that sticks with us. And I think that's—
You remember the people.
Definitely.
And I'll remember all those seniors.
Yeah.
And I'll remember all the great times that we had together. And that team was special. And, we got a big ring that symbolizes the connections that we made that year. And that's the great thing about sports is you work every day together. I mean, we're together literally 6 days a week right now.
Yeah.
And so those relationships are big, but no hiding it.
You got to be like,
you definitely remember that last game, but
like Jalen Hurts using his screensaver as, when he was walking off the field after they lost. Y'all got to get like just a little picture up in there as motivation if you need it. I don't know. But just speaking of the seniors that you had last year and just the guys that you remember, a guy, Marte Mapu, who's now playing for the Patriots, balling, hopefully going to start. I mean, did you envision that when you saw him playing? And I think we all knew the type of player he was, and just what does that do for the program as far as like recruiting? And, I know Sac State has seen, players go pro, but this is big time because it's more recent and how much recent success y'all have had.
Yeah, he's an awesome person. And when you see good things happen to great people, it just makes it even more special.
Yeah.
And the work ethic that he had, how he rose in our program, we talk about all the time. Just stick with it, keep working, keep doing the things that you can control. Because a lot of people don't know is he didn't really start at nickel until he was a junior. And so he just stayed with it and he kept getting bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, all those things. So we're very, very proud of him, regardless of what happens tomorrow. I mean, he's been a great representative of Sac State. I love the fact that we can say that, hey, you stay at Sac State and you can get drafted and people find you. Heck yeah. Am I selling that? Yes. Because we want to have all the best players in this area stay right here and they can do it. So he is a big thing with that. But I'm just proud of, when you see people that get a chance to chase their dreams.
Yeah.
Nothing better, right?
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
What it's about.
Yeah.
Head coach, Sac State football, Andy Thompson. I'm telling you guys right now, I can't wait for the season. One of the things that I was able to discover, I hadn't been to Sac State football in maybe 10, 12 years last year, is it is a heck of a fun time out there. Like it is a good time.
You have more fun because you get to be out there drinking.
I got a little champagne and campaigning, a little champagne and campaigning in that back end zone.
I don't have anything to help my nerves when I'm nervous. You have.
It's a good time out there. I need everybody in Sacramento to find a game or a couple games they want to go to and go out to Hornets Stadium and check out Sac State football because it's a great time out. Coach Thompson, we wish you much success. You can come up here anytime you want to.
Yeah, I'd love to come back.
Come hang out with us and we'll see what you guys got in store for us this year, man. We can't wait.
Appreciate you guys got great
got that
vibes
Stanford game circled on our calendar.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah. We got to go down to Louisiana first. August 31st.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
Can't wait.
Dang.
I can't wait. Coach Andy Thompson, Sac State head football coach. Excuse me. I can speak. I do it professionally. Head football coach for Sac State, Andy Thompson, joining us. We'll take